Welcome to a brand new episode of VA Mindset. This episode is packed with tips you don't want to miss. Grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's chat about how to protect your time, avoid burnout, and guide your clients to success without losing yourself in the process. All right, let's dive into something that's crucial, not just for VAs, but for anyone working remotely, setting boundaries and keeping that work-life balance intact. This is where a lot of people mess up. They start taking on clients, getting excited, and before they know it, they're answering emails at 2 a.m. and their personal life is non-existent. Sound familiar? Well, it doesn't have to be that way if you know how to set clear boundaries and stick to them. Let's talk about setting boundaries with clients first. Here's the thing. Clients are not your boss. They're your partner in this whole business deal. And that means you've got to set the rules from the get-go. Get that? Set the rules. Be clear about your work hours, your availability, and your expectations. I don't care if they're in a different time zone or if they're in a panic. Over a last-minute request, you control your time. Tell them when you're available, when you're off, and when you don't want to hear from them unless it's urgent. No exceptions. If they start blowing up your phone at midnight, it's your job to remind them, hey, I'm not on call 24/7. I'll get to this during my working hours. Now, let's talk work-life balance. As a VA, you probably have more than one client. So, how do you juggle all that and still stay sane? First off, organization is your best friend. You're not a superhero, you're human. You can't do everything at once. So, get that calendar, planner, or project management tool working for you. Prioritize, focus on the tasks that matter, and don't try to be a hero for every client. It's okay to say no or push back if you've already got a full plate. Remember, quality over quantity. You can't do your best work if you're burned out. Don't be afraid to set limits. And hey, don't forget yourself. Self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity if you want to keep up this grind long term. Now, red flags? Let's talk about them. If a client is constantly pushing your boundaries, or if they're expecting you to work outside your agreed hours without compensation, that's a red flag. If they have unrealistic expectations or don't communicate clearly, that's a red flag. If they constantly ask you to drop everything and work on something urgent that isn't really urgent, yep, another red flag. As a VA, you've got to trust your gut and set clear limits. You're not a doormat, you're a professional. And a good client will respect your time, your skills, and your boundaries. Speaking of that, don't be afraid to say no when a client asks you to do something that isn't part of your job, or if their request is disorganized. You're not their assistant in the sense that you have to manage their chaos. No, you're there to make their lives easier by doing specific high-level tasks. If they're asking for something outside of that scope, it's time to step in and guide them. Let them know what can be done and what can't. You're not a mind reader. You're a professional with your own systems. Help them get organized and they'll appreciate you more for it. Bottom line, as a VA, you are in control. Set boundaries, keep your balance, and never let anyone walk all over you. Protect your time and your well-being, because if you don't, no one else will.